Welcome to the Grit and Grace podcast, where faith, family, and real life leadership meet. I'm your host, Daphne Boyd. Let's dive in. Hi, if you're new here, welcome. You'll get to know me over time, not in a polished about me episode, but in conversations just like this one. I feel like people don't really care about who you are until they know about what you care about. So today I wanted to talk to you about wellness without fear and the fear-based marketing that targets women in particular. And as a marketer, I want you to know that I am probably one of the most marketed to people on the planet. My social media feeds are filled with ads primarily. And it's just the name of the game, right? When you're a marketer, they want you to buy their course. They want you to run ads. They want you to try out new software and new technologies and new products. And then into that the fact that I am also a wife and a mother, and I get marketed to in those respects as well. So everything from clothes and children's clothes and women's clothes to household products and furniture and things for the home and all kinds of things to make your life better. And then add to that the fact that I am also a homesteader. And so I get chicken feed ads and dog vitamin ads and all kinds of stuff. So needless to say, I have seen a ton of marketing. And what I don't love about marketing is the fact that fear actually sells a lot of things. So, for example, I feel that women in particular are targeted with fear-based ads, especially surrounding health and wellness of their families. And so, for example, I'll tell you a story. I was browsing Facebook one day, this was sometime last week, and I came across an ad for a fruit and veggie wash. And their picture and video was really great. It looked very clean and modern and the whole nine yards, right? And I read their content and I was like, this is a new product. I hadn't heard of this before. So I clicked on it, started checking out their website, started checking out the product, and I almost ordered it. And then I looked at it and I was like, why do I need this? Like, I have bought a ton of fruit and veggie washes in the past, and I don't feel like they're any better than what I normally use. And so I started doing a little bit of online research. What I did was I went to Amazon to see if I could find a product that was similar, but cost a lot less. And I was finding all kinds of fruit and veggie washes in Amazon, right? And they all looked very, very similar. Like, a lot of them just looked like bottles of water, to be honest. So I started reading about the contents that were in them and what different ones were made out of and the claims that they were making and things like that. And as a marketer, I'm able to spot a lot of things that I think normal, everyday people just don't pay attention to, right? So I pay attention to a lot of that stuff, the verbiage and the emotion that they are trying to create in their customers. And so I went online and I started doing a little bit of research about the particular ingredients that were in these products. And you just wait to see where I'm going with this, because I don't want you to like, oh God, what did you find? It's actually, a lot of them didn't do much. And I don't say they didn't do anything. Clearly, washing your fruits and vegetables under running water does a lot more than nothing. And then you add to that something like citric acid or an essential oil. And yeah, you might have a little bit of like less, bacteria or unwanted chemicals there. But nothing really strips away everything completely except for general soap, right? And you would think, as a 40-something mom of 4, that I would know that. And so I started thinking about, what do I wash my fruits and veggies with right now? Because I cook a lot. I'm in the kitchen a lot. I love cooking, actually. And I grow my own vegetables and all the whole 9 yards, okay? So I was like, well, honestly, I just wash it with a dime-sized amount of, dish soap. I have a bottle of Dawn dish soap that I actually wash my dishes with, and then I have a pump bottle of Mrs. Meyer's dish soap, which doesn't wash the dishes very well, in my opinion. That's just me. But I like to use it for fruits and veggies, actually. So I'll just take a dime-sized amount of that, scrub the apple, the cucumber, whatever it is, and rinse it off and cut it, and we're good to go. And if you look at some of the marketing surrounding these types of products, they'll say, oh, don't do that. Absolutely do not do that. You'll get soap residue in your fruits and veggies and you'll never be able to get it out. And you're eating that and you're ingesting that and all that kind of stuff. And so I want to be the voice of reason and say calmly, you're already washing your dishes, which you eat off of, with those same soaps and chemicals. And you are already putting bare hands, which your skin is the largest organ in your body, and it can absorb chemicals as well. You're putting your hands in that as well. And so the actual effect of the chemicals getting into your food is no more than what it would normally be through your hands or through your dishes, right? And so some people start thinking about all of the ways that chemicals affect our body, and they start to hyperventilate. And this is where it ties into marketing, because this fear-based marketing is selling billions and billions of dollars of products, health and wellness products in particular, that claim to address these problems, right? So for example, oh, don't use dryer sheets or conventional detergents or candles or scented plugins or room sprays or perfumes or lotions, and the list goes on and on and on, because you have all of these chemicals being absorbed through your skin and they are affecting your liver, and you have all of these, hormone disruptors, and that's the reason that you can't lose weight, and that's the reason that you can't get pregnant, and that's the reason that you're angry and depressed all of the time, and it affects your mood, and it does this and it does that. Okay. And what I want to say and what I want to be right now is this voice of reason, and just calm that down. As a marketer, they don't care what you do in your life. They don't care how sad or happy you are. They don't care how much money in the bank you have or you don't have. They care about creating an emotion inside of you that sells their product. And so I also am speaking as a mom that is naturally minded. I home birthed my 3 girls. I breastfed exclusively for a total of almost 12 years for 4 children. I cloth diapered, not all the time, but that was a little hobby of mine that I did, especially with my second child. I have been to one extreme of this natural health and wellness journey where I have, made my own bread, made my own butter, made my own toothpaste, grown my own food. And I still enjoy doing that. Actually, I garden and raise chickens and cows. But what I'm saying is I've been to that extreme, where I was cloth diapering newborn and making my butter, and I felt so, good, and I was juicing and, and I was, doing all of the things as I learned about health and wellness and making better choices for my family. But what I have realized after 20 years of this living, of natural living, health and wellness, and putting my family's health as a priority, I've also realized that as a marketer, that a lot of the products that we are told will change our lives, right? We make this one change, it's going to make us lose weight. If we make this one swap, then we're going to drop 5 pounds in the next month, or we're going to not have depression anymore, or we're lessening the load on our liver, and we're all these things, like we're just going to be superhumans, pretty much is the marketing towards this stuff. And I realized that it's just wrong. And so I am not telling you to not care about your health and to just, willy-nilly choose whatever, chemical laden product is out there. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is I want to tone down the fear around the health and wellness industry and the way that they market their products. There's not a one size fits all in this situation. You can be anti-vax and eat real food and not drink alcohol, but also love cake sometimes, or drinking a Coke with real sugar like I do. You can appreciate the scent of the laundry aisle at the grocery store, or walking in the mall and smelling Bath and Body Works calling your name, right? You don't have to neatly fit into any category. And I don't think women in general should have to. So fear sells. The wellness industry is making billions of dollars off of this fear-based marketing. It's targeting mothers and women specifically because they know that honestly, we're more emotional. Our husbands don't get marketed to the same way. Our sons don't get marketed to the same way. And what it is they're basically selling safety and they're selling virtue. Some people feel holier than thou when they buy certain products. So I use this laundry detergent and it has zero color and it doesn't have any, color brighteners or, fabric brighteners, and it doesn't have this and it doesn't have that and it doesn't have it. And they'll name off all these products, right? And I'm like, yeah, but your towels stink. So there's that. I'm just saying, and honestly, don't get me wrong. If you enjoy the laundry detergent that you're using, whether it's natural or conventional, I have zero, skin in this game. I don't own any shares in any of those companies. So feel free to use whatever you enjoy. But what I'm saying is that there is this holier than thou feeling that comes with purchasing some of these health and wellness products. And they're selling this virtue. And so the other thing that I don't like about it is the fact that a lot of these products are 3, 4, 5 times more expensive than the regular conventional products. So for example, say your kitchen spray or your laundry detergent or, any one of those things, right? They can be 2, 3, 4 times the price and they actually they don't last any longer. They say that they do, we're highly concentrated, whatever. And you're buying this little 12-ounce bottle of something that you're supposed to dilute and blah, blah, blah. And it's still not getting the job done, right? It still doesn't smell clean. It still doesn't look clean, whatever it is. Could be your dishes, could be your, dishwash soap, could be your laundry detergent, could be, something that you're using to scrub toilets with. And you're feeling like it's just not working. Like they're selling you a bottle of virtue. And so there's this martyr syndrome too that also comes with purchasing some of these products of I can't wear perfume because, of the hormone disruptors and, blah, blah, blah. This is why I can't lose weight. This is why I'm 50 pounds overweight, or this is why I'm 30 pounds overweight because of these hormone disruptors. And I don't mean to make fun of anybody. I don't mean to, make anyone feel bad if you're overweight or any of those kind of things. I think women in general struggle with their weight. But what I'm saying is these are not your problem. This is not what's causing your problems, okay? The biggest hormone disruptor that we have in our body, we produce ourselves, and it's called stress. And stress is actually one of the things that comes with some of this marketing, where we feel this urgency, we feel this moral pressure to purchase products we can't afford, or we feel like we need to go all in and dump everything that we help out, the shampoo, the conditioner, the kitchen spray. We need to throw away all of our candles and trash all of the plugins and throw away every single lotion we ever loved, just because of this fear that we have, or this moral pressure that we have to go all in. And I'm saying you don't have to do that. Health has quietly become a moral scoreboard, and moms are actually paying the price because we're stressed. We're stressed about buying things that we feel like we need to have if we really cared about our families, if we really cared about our children and our, precious little babies, if we really cared about our homes, we would be spending 3 and 4 times as much on all of these products, right? And when you frame it that way, you're like, wait, yeah, I can see that. But when you are being marketed to just, on a regular basis, either through social media or TikTok or TV or whatever, you don't really think about it like that. You're like, oh yeah, I need to buy some of that because it's better. Better than what? Better because they said it was better? Do you even understand how some of those chemicals are completely negated? And I'm not a doctor, so I want to throw that out there that I'm not a doctor or a health professional. I'm not telling you what to do. And I'm not giving you health and medical advice, right? But as someone who studied health and wellness and nutrition, and as someone who also took college courses in research and healthcare, I can tell you for a fact where you can read some of these studies in peer-reviewed journals, not on somebody's TikTok, and in actual research-based journals and not social media or what your friend said on or an article that they shared on your social media. The fact is that those chemicals are all around us. We're never going to get rid of it. And the impact that we have, the impact that they have through household products is very minimal, period. And I can reference some of those studies if you want to. I'm not saying, hey, everything's a free-for-all. Just overload your liver with all of these toxic chemicals. You'll be fine. But what I do want to say is that God created our bodies to be strong. He didn't create them to be so weak that we need specialized $30 soap in order to feel better about ourselves, right? If you think about what they had in the Bible days, running anything through water was cleaner than not, right? Period. And you're like, oh, I wish we could go back to those days. I know some people, and maybe you do too, that they wish they could go back to those days where like, I wish that we could just, grow our own foods and, live off the land and raise sheep and shear them and make our clothes and, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. What I'm saying is the stress, the pressure, and the fear-based marketing that comes with some of those things is what I want to take a stand against. Not just as a marketer, but also as a mother, as a wife, and as someone who has had my own health struggles, So one of the key things that I want to hit on is the fact that in your body versus on your body is a lot more important. So what goes in your body, like food, nutrition, your blood sugar, minerals, protein, those are things that are going to have a larger impact on your health than your laundry detergent. Stress as a real hormone disruptor has way more impact on your health and can cause actual diseases, not your plug-in, okay? What you eat matters more than what touches your skin, period. I'm just going to say that, period. You can, for example, be pumping gas in your car and get some gas on your hands, and you can wash your hands. That would be a lot different if you actually swallowed that same amount of gas. Do you understand? So it's the same thing. Jesus called this out, I feel like, when he addressed, and it wasn't in the same phrase, so I'm not trying to misuse scripture, but Jesus did call out the Pharisees when he said that they would clean the outside of the cup, but the inside was still dirty or still remains unclean. And so it's this external purity versus actual internal health. How many people are spending way too much money on almond milk and oat milk and all these natural cleaning products they feel like are better for them, but then they'll go jog next to a busy street when they're inhaling all of these fumes, right? Or they, go swimming in a public pool that has chlorine and a ton of other chemicals in them. Actually, even if you go swimming at the beach and there's a ton of chemicals that are in ocean water that you don't even think about, including petrochemicals, whether we like to think about that or not. And my whole reason for saying all of that is not to scare you. It's not to say, don't go swimming in a public swimming pool, and don't go to the beach and enjoy the water, and don't go running at the local park because it's next to a busy street. What I'm saying is we don't look at all of that stuff, but yet we will stress over these small things. And really, you have to start to ask yourself, what actually brings me joy? Am I happy? Or does purchasing these types of products, because I've been marketed to with fear, make me feel superior? Does it make me feel better than other people? Does it make me feel like I have more virtue than they do? And I'm not talking to you in particular. I'm just saying, think about that when you go to make those choices. I also want to talk about real food versus health food. So this is just a small aside, but it drives me insane as a mom when I see all these people buying almond milk or oat milk or doing a coconut creamer that they have to make themselves because, dairy is so bad. And so that's one of the things that I'm actually glad and happy about with the whole Make America Healthy Again and the MAHA movement is we're bringing real food back to America's tables. We're bringing real food back to the forefront of health and nutrition in this country. And I feel like real food, real milk, real meat, real bread is far more superior than all of these so-called health products that we have marketed to. If they weren't in existence 100 years ago, we probably shouldn't be eating them now. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just telling you. So just common sense in general. Common sense matters. Dose matters. Context matters. And fear without discernment is not wisdom. So I want you to exhale. You're not failing. You're not irresponsible. You don't need to be afraid to care deeply about your home and your family. So calm is allowed. Peace is allowed. Joy is allowed. If that candle in the store makes you feel peaceful and it brings a smile to your face and it makes you happy, bring it home. It's fine. What I'm saying is that is not what's going to kill you. The stress is going to kill you. And those companies don't actually even care about your peace and your stress levels. They care about their bottom line. And this is working because people know that something is intuitively wrong with our nutrition. And they know that something is wrong with the chemicals that are in existence and have done a lot of harm in our environment. And so they play off of that fear. And what I'm asking you to do is just breathe and think through a lot of the marketing and say, are they selling me fear right now? Are they selling me virtue? Are they selling me safety? Because that's not a health strategy. So in closing, I want to invite you to what's coming next. We're going to have more conversations just like this. There will be a blog series about this, and you can follow me on social media and look at my Facebook and Instagrams about some of this stuff. I definitely post about a lot of these things that are important to me, and I'm glad that you joined me today. Thank you. Thanks for spending this time with me on the Grit and Grace podcast. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to follow the show and share it with another woman who needs it. You can find resources, episodes, and lots more at daphneBoyd.com. Until next time, walk with grit and grace.